Hello and welcome back to the channel and another video about the construction of Heaton Lodge Junction Phase 2. Now, don't worry, I haven't ripped up all of Heaton Lodge Junction Phase 1, just about 30 metres of it, which was really bugging me, as some of you will have seen in last week's video. But keep watching because I'm going to show you exactly why I'm glad I did take it up. So it's not going to take that long to lay back down again, so all's not lost. Moving on, just wanted to talk about the crowdfunding for a second that I ran that campaign a few months ago. Haven't forgotten you, always grateful to you, that all of those of you that contributed but I just wanted to let you know that when the dates and the venues of Heaton Lodge Junction in its entirety are announced later this year, you guys, when you turn up, you'll have your own separate entrance, you'll be shepherded around the back as well as the front, and I'm going to be showing you personally how everything works too. So that's all in store for you, and thanks very much again for contributing. So in today's video, we're just going to look at the diorama that we did last week, and really, I suppose, the theme this week is just taking track up. I don't like the term ripping it up, but I certainly did a lot of taking up since I last saw you. So I'm going to show you what I've been up to, so hang on for the ride, and here we go again. So let's return to this part of the layout where we're working on this kind of diorama. And just for those of you that have just joined the video channel, we're just doing this 12 foot by 8 foot diorama. I'm going to be going through every single way in which we can build this, every technique that it takes to get it to the same standard as Heaton Lodge Phase 1. We've already done the puddles, which we've talked about these many times, but this is what we did last week. And looking at it, if we close up on it, it looks really, really good. For those of you that missed it, you can see it in last week's video, and the puddles look okay. There is, however, one big problem. If you remember, when I was doing the static grass, I covered the puddles with masking tape to protect them, but I can only find 5 of them. I can't find the rest of them because I've put so much layering, matte varnish spray on the actual scenery. It's pretty much like, well, it's not like rock, but in fact, doing that actually, I may have found a new little technique there. But yeah, I've put so much of the matte varnish on, it's covered the puddles, and I've given up digging them out now. So there we go. I think that looks really good. And what was it? As I said, 7, 8, 9 minutes. We're going to do a bit of unmade road or unmade surface there with a bit of grass in it. So we're going to pretend that the grass has really grown there, but it kind of peters out a bit over this next bit here. So, and then we've got all the ballasting to do, which is all going to be fun and games. So there we have it. I'm really pleased with that. Again, there's loads more on static grass in previous videos that I've done, but I love that blend. I just think it suits layouts from the summer, the winter. It just looks really, really realistic. But don't forget the magic ingredient. What is it? Crushed earth. That's what we need. Lots of clods of crushed earth dropped into the mixture. It makes the whole thing look so much more realistic. So there we have it. We'll come back to this soon. Right, so let's show you what I've been doing. And again, those of you with nervous dispositions, please cover your eyes now, because here we go. The track is coming up. 4 lines of it, right up to the far end. The 2 lines on the right, as I said last week, are going to stay, but the 4 main lines are coming up. And As I said in the introduction, the reason why I'm really glad that I've taken this step is because I've realised why the trains were running really rough. I've realised why the ballast was crumbling really badly, and it's because I used a new technique. This was actually during lockdown in COVID, and for some reason, because I was getting near the end, I was trying to go quicker and quicker, and it was a stupid thing to do, a decision I really regret actually, going back a few years. But I used thin super glue to dribble between the ballast to hold the ballast down, and that has been the problem. Because when I've got my multi-tool dug into the track to lift it, when it hits the super glue ballast, honestly, it's nearly broken the multi-tool, let alone anything else. So what I'm going to be doing is going back to this standard, using good old PVA, a mixture of different coloured ballasts, which I'm going to go through with you when I lay this. And by the way, it's really not going to take a long time. I know it looks a lot of work, but once I've sanded this down, this track bed, most of the cork has remained down. It's still a bit wet at the minute. I'm going to show you how I lifted it in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's worked actually really well. I know some of you are thinking and shaking your heads, what the hell does this guy think he's on? He must be crazy. Well, I'm not, honestly, because there is a method to the madness. And as a result of doing this, we're going to have much smoother running trains, which again has been a bugbear of mine for quite some time. So there we have it. I've just been pulling this up in front of the camera. You're going to see that clip in a few seconds. But yeah, there we go. So all we're going to do is we're going to pull up I'm just going to nip around this tripod. We're going to pull up the ballast and the track from this section here all the way down, and this is the worst section where it starts on this incline, and this is the incline which I'm going to realign, because I'm going to use the other end where this incline joins the marshalling yard, which is about 20 centimeters lower than what we're looking at now. And I'm going to lengthen the incline so we can smooth it out a bit. But these two tracks too, with the bit missing in the middle, they're going to come up, probably take me 2 or 3 days, and then I can crack on with laying the concrete section track, which is going to replace it. So it's all good. So the moral of the story is, do not ever use thin super glue to do your ballast. It is a nightmare and you will sincerely regret it. Unfortunately, I wish there was a better way than PVA, because we all hate it, don't we, as modelers? But I don't think there is. And yeah, I just wish there was, but there isn't. It does look a bit of a mess, but it doesn't worry me in the slightest, because again, I suppose the moral of the story is, if I built it, then I can fix it, and I certainly can. So there we go. That's it. You can uncover your eyes now, all of you that were wincing. In fact, no, you'll have to cover them up back in a minute, because I'm going to show you exactly how that track comes up with some very hot water and a multi-tool. Stand by. Okay, so now's the time to close your eyes if you don't want to watch the next part. So what I've got here, and a couple of people, as I said earlier in the comments, mentioned it, best way to do it was some very hot water. And I've already done a few stretches of this track already. So I've decided, or in fact found out by trial and error, not to go too liberal on the hot water. In other words, do a lot of it. Pour it on like so. And then we're going to give it, after I've soaked it to death, we're going to give it 5 minutes to sink in. And then we're going to use the lovely multi-tool, which makes a huge amount of racket. So there we go. I don't know if I've gone off camera a bit with that. Sorry if I have. I know I'm putting loads on, but it can't damage anything because all it is wiring underneath that's coming out anyway. Because the new automation system, which will eventually be going in, will replace everything that's there. So we're going to leave that for 5 minutes. We're going to come back. We're going to use this nice big multi-tool. I've got a thing about these. They're just hunky and tough. And it's going to rip up this track, and I'm going to lay some lovely new concrete track in its place. So stand by for the next stage. Okay, we've left that for 5 minutes for the hot water to soak in. It was nearly boiling, but not quite boiling. I know, again, it's time to close your eyes again for those of you who don't want to watch this, but it's got to be done because the new track will be so much better laid and lots of nice new ballast, and the trains will run a lot more smoothly. So let's get cracking. I'm going to start on this first one first. So that's come up pretty easily just after a few seconds, as you can see. And the ballast underneath, yeah, it's not particularly good. So I'm glad I pulled it up anyway. But that's how it works. I'm not going to bore you with watching, or painfully bore you with watching the rest of this 4-track main line coming up. Suffice it to say that by next week, all this will be done. And when I say all this, I mean, I'll just turn the camera around. We're going to do all the way down on, see where that porter cabin is? We're going to do all the way down to where that pillar is, and then we're going to do right the way down to the far end where the scenic section ends. And I reckon it'll probably take me about, probably not even a couple of days, to be honest. Probably about another 3 or 4 days to lay the new track. So there we have it. I'm glad I did this. Keep saying that. Sorry for boring you. But I think it was the right thing to do. Right, so let me take you around the other side now to the nice bit, the marshalling yard that I'm actually constructing and not destroying. So anyway, this is the incline which I just mentioned, which is going to be coming up and relayed, not just because of the ballast, because I want to smooth out this incline. We're just going to walk round now, and you're going to see what I've been doing in the marshalling yard. That's the outer section, by the way, which takes the 2 tracks over over the main viaduct, which you've seen that goes over the river. But what about this? It's all gone. The marshalling yard track, well, the old fiddle yard, is gone. And I've just painted it in a mucky, greeny brown paint. I've lifted and kept all the track, including the points, so I can reuse all those. And you can see if we just walk down a bit further, those are the silos, by the way, for the cement factory. This is where we've got to. So if we look all the way down there, we're way over, probably 2/3 of the way, and we've just got this bit to do. So I reckon that'll probably take me 7 or 8 weeks to lay all that track. Obviously, we've got the carts that go on the left-hand side, the extension carts, and on the right-hand side, we've got the, well, basically bookcases, which are going to carry about 18 inches of scenery. There's the cement factory, the main building at the far end, which is where it's actually probably going to end up. But yeah, there we have it. Again, I've been bringing these sidings up, and I'm really, really pleased with how this looks. I've just painted it brown because, or a mucky browny green, because it's just much nicer laying track. I know everybody's thinking, what the hell are all those holes in the baseboard? I've covered this before, but it's where I drilled so many holes because I messed around relaying points and changing things around so many times when I was building the original fiddle yard back in 2015. And because I had to move points just a few millimeters here and there, I just thought, oh, bugger it, I'll just make a great big hole with a massive drill. I've come to kind of regret it now. Sort of bull in the china shop comes to mind, but they're easy to cover. I'll either fill them in with a bit of filler, or I'll just cover them with some thin plastic. But either way, these will disappear. So all is well. But I'm pleased. Everything is going really well. That's the building that Tim Horn did for me, Tim Horn Baseboards, a few weeks ago, part of the cement factory. And there's some new carts being delivered next week, which are going to go all along this side, which are going to support the aforementioned cement factory and a load more sidings for it. So there we have it. Progress indeed. Right, so we're at Tim Horn's because Tim, from Tim Horn Baseboards, of course, has done the next building in the cement factory. And look at this. Another massive tall building that only just about fits in your workshop, Tim, doesn't it?
It does when it's sitting on the table, but I think the table's probably similar height to the layout, isn't
probably
it?
similar height to the layout, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this one, the original one that we're mimicking, is popping up on your screen now. And this one consists of all these silos, which you got these pipes, Tim. What they made out of? It looks like
plastic.
Waste,
it's
pipe?
they just call it ducting from Screwfix. I think it's a 125 mil.
Right.
They come in 1 meter lengths, which is handy.
It really is handy because these are going to look great. I'm going to have to spray primer on these and then paint them a concrete colour. And then at the top, we're going to have all the walkways along the top, probably halfway down. These will be lit up at the same time. There's going to be lights down the side. And I think this opening here is for the Blue Circle PCA wagons to go in.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, and then the cement gets loaded into them from here. So this looks fantastic, Tim.
Yeah,
really
no,
is.
it's come out well. So I've done it just so basically you can take it back to the unit as a cap, if you like.
Got you.
And all of these are individual. And there's also cutouts in I'll use 6mm MDF this time to make a difference between the 4mm.
Because I'm going to have to find a way of gluing these silos, so to speak, onto this. What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I'd probably use a hot glue gun and just do it. If you do it on the inside, do the corners. There's also handy cutouts which came from off these pieces here. So if you pack them in,
oh yeah, I see. So
pack them in like that, and that'll space the tube in as well.
Yeah, because this building's actually going on a cart, and it's not going to move. It's going to get rolled around everywhere anyway. So it's not too bad. So with that top on that you just took off, in fact, this bit here.
Yeah, so upside down view would be.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Another huge building.
It will lock in. It will be good.
Yeah, Arnold the dog is
eating
some of it. I don't know what he's eating, but he tends to eat a lot of wood, doesn't he, Tim?
He's terrible.
At least he's not in charge of your laser cutting machine.
No, not today.
No, not today. But that's great, Tim. Thanks ever so much. Another one to take back to the basement. I'm in Norfolk, by the way, as you can probably tell, at Tim Horn Baseboards, and I'm on the way back with this building in the back of my VW Golf. So it'll soon be on the layout, painted, detailed, and it should look great when it's finished.
Thanks,
there we go. No, cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
So back in Yorkshire now after a trip from Norfolk, and thanks again to Tim there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to adding all the detail to those structures, because when they've got the walkways and the lights and they're all lit up and the steam coming out of them, they'll look absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's the end for this week. Just want to say a great big thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe as ever. I know I say it every week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Lots to come. So have a great weekend and see you soon.